What's up, everybody? Welcome to another show on Latin Explaining. My name is Denise Gonzalez. For those who do not know me, for those who do, welcome once again to another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise, all about business and finances. I hope everybody has had a great weekend. I know I did. Um, and also, happy late Father's Day to all the fathers that watch me and fathers to be. And if you're not a father, well, shout out to your father. So I see that all aboard, Terrell, Ramon, good buddy are already here. Also, Jose, thank you. Good evening. I know I'm a little late today, but you guys know it's been a crazy roller coaster couple of days. But we're here, right? And that's all that matters. So, without any further ado, you guys know how we do things here. Let's start by sharing important news.
Take it to the next level.
Now, whew, today we have good news, very good news, and some not so good. I hate to bring sad and crazy news over here, but it is what it is. We still have to inform you guys of what's going on. And today I want to start with some good news. We can all use good news right now. And I know I'm a little late to inform this, but you guys know I'm a big fan of combat sports. And I want to share with you guys, and I want to shout out to all the Mexicans that listen to me and congratulate you guys on your first Mexican born UFC champion, Brandon Moreno. What a fucking fight. Like, I don't know if you guys enjoy mixed martial arts and combat sports as much as I do. I know I do, and I love it. And boy, this fight was insane. Okay, Brandon Moreno won by submission over Figueiredo, and it was amazing because for many of you guys that don't know, there was a point, I believe it was 2 years ago, when Moreno was dropped out of the UFC, and when he came back, he made a promise that he actually accomplished. He promised that he was going to be one day the UFC champion, and boy, he did. I'm gonna share with you guys what he said is going to be in Spanish, but you guys know I will always translate for those who do not understand. But I'm telling you, this kid, oh my God, this kid is something else. All Mexican people, I know you guys are excited, but trust me, it extends to more than just Mexican people. We all, as Latinos, are super proud of this boy. I'm going to play what CNN said about Brandon Moreno and the little interview they have with him.
Brandon, qué gusto tenerte en CNN en español.
La verdad es que estoy muy agradecido con el espacio, ¿no? Ha sido una locura todo esto que ha estado pasando estos últimos días y nada, estoy muy agradecido.
Muchísimas felicidades antes que nada por este reciente triunfo. Eres campeón de UFC peso mosca. Y yo me pregunto, ¿cómo han sido, supongo que de locura, pero cómo han sido estos días de triunfo para ti?
Obviamente, ahorita ya lo he asimilado un poco mejor, pero no te lo voy a negar que no sé, domingo, lunes que desperté, todavía seguía siendo un poco increíble, ¿no? Seguía siendo este momento en el cual, o sea, mis sueños a largo plazo se habían cumplido y ya los tenía materializados en el campeonato. Lo recuerdo que me dan el campeonato, me lo ponen en el hombro, lo volteo a ver así como, hey, esto es real, esto es de verdad, lo estoy sintiendo ahora, ¿no? Y la verdad es que ha sido increíble.
¿Qué significa ser el primer peleador nacido en México que gana un título de UFC?
Yo creo que significa muchísimo, ¿no? Y significa muchísimo para el país. Obviamente hemos tenido campeones con sangre mexicana, o sea, hemos tenido a Caín Velázquez, hemos tenido a Henry Cejudo, que han representado muy bien nuestra bandera, nuestros colores, pero obviamente que México tenga un campeón que realmente, o sea, yo soy de Tijuana, yo soy de los barrios de Tijuana, acá crecí, o sea, ahorita estoy aquí con mis papás, acá crecí, eh, tuve todas las, o sea, todo ese tipo de cosas que vives viviendo en un país como México, los tuve y creo que México tenga un campeón así, se va a sentir 100% identificado, ¿no? Y eso, híjole, me gana muchísimo porque sé que podemos hacer cosas grandes en el país.
Y una de las cosas que yo creo que más ha sorprendido a mucha gente ha sido la reacción no solamente tuya dentro del octágono, sino la de toda esa gente que se reunió en el gimnasio en Tijuana y te vieron ganar. O sea, fue una reacción que se volvió viral.
Sí, sí, la verdad es que, o sea, lo he visto compartido en todos los medios de artes marciales mixtas, lo he visto compartido en medios locales acá en mi ciudad. Fue una locura y creo que va todo envuelto a lo mismo, ¿no? Creo que va todo envuelto al hecho de que es un momento especial para el país, es un momento especial para todo el equipo. O sea, imagínate, el equipo estaba vuelto loco, estaba bien contento festejando en el momento que ya tiene el cuello de mi oponente. Nada más estaban esperando que el tipo tapeara, ¿no? Que hiciera el tapado de rendición para ganar el combate y todos explotan en el momento que ya el referee separa las acciones. Es un momento muy bonito.
Now, you guys know I cannot put the whole video on, but you guys saw, how Brandon Moreno's expressions. He still can't believe it. I mean, many of us still can't believe it. We know it happened, but we're so excited that we can actually believe this happened. It was such an amazing fight. I don't know how many of you guys watched the first bout that him and Figueiredo had several months ago, and he could not finish. And Figueiredo thought, hey, oh, he's a crybaby. I don't know how many of you guys saw that weird diss of him calling him a crybaby several times, and he had to submit. So, like I said, congratulations and shout out to all the Mexicans on their win. You guys made it all the way to the top of the UFC, and that is something you don't see every day. So I'm excited. I'm very proud of Brando Moreno and his development in the UFC. Hopefully now, he starts being more valued for who he really is. Now, moving into the not so pretty, not so good news. There's some news that are just developing now in Chicago. You guys know that we have had what it will be, or eventually in a few weeks, I think, the Puerto Rican parade. Unfortunately, yesterday we had some events that happened, and I'm not going to play the video, but a man was killed. A Puerto Rican man was killed in Humboldt Park, and he was celebrating the Puerto Rican Day Parade. His wife was injured for displaying. They say it's because he was displaying the flag. I believe we have to watch more, this story and how it develops. But apparently, he was killed alongside with his wife that was injured. And for those who want to contribute, he was only, I believe, 25 years old. No, 24. No, he was 25 and his wife was 24. Now, for those who want to donate to the family, to their Suaga's family, funeral costs for Perez, the young boy that was injured, um, they have raised so far $11,000 as of today in the afternoon. So if you want to contribute to his funeral costs, you guys know how this is very costly, especially when you're not prepared because he was so young. There's a GoFundMe in the Arsuagas family's name. So if you want to donate, like I always say, $1, $2, whatever you can donate, it will be sufficient. This is a very, 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 very sad story of such a young couple, having their lives destroyed by just crime. So, like I said, it's really crazy that this happened, and we don't know a lot of it yet. like I said, it's really, really, really sad to see that this happened. But you guys know how Chicago is. You know, it's a really hot zone. Blood Moon is saying, I read his wife was driving and she hit the other car. I do not know if his wife was driving. This has been just breaking news. This happened just yesterday. So we don't know a lot of it yet. As this progresses and develops a little bit more, I promise I will bring you guys the full information. But like I said, this is really, really sad. But it goes to show also like how our identity is not necessarily welcome here. And you know, things like this happen. We don't know yet what was going on. Like I said, all I can say today is that my condolences to the Arzuaga family for their loss. And like I said, I'm deeply saddened by just having to share this news. And the only thing we can do right now is donate. And also the family is asking for whoever is a believer in prayer to pray for their child, because this has been super sad. You know, one minute you wake up, you're celebrating, the next it's a massacre, right? So like I said, life is not granted. um we have to please be safe. Like Jose always says, there are people out there that want to do you harm, so please be safe. You know, don't do any crazy right now, because I feel like to a certain degree now, um the world reopening and people have been, you know, locked down for so long, emotions can, you know, run a little crazy here and there. So like I said, it's crazy. Music only account is saying same thing happened with Andres Puerta and Vanessa Guillen, same demographics. Well, I don't know if it's the same demographics, because the Vanessa Guillen situation is something that the US Army does not want to release yet. So I'm a little hesitant to believe that this happened for what they say it happened. But it was also very heartbreaking, the Vanessa Guillen case last year. It was really, really sad. Now, because also for their Swaga, it was several people. It was not just one demographic. I don't know if you saw the video, but I saw it. I just don't want to play it. It's too heartbreaking for me to see something like that. So I want to move to another type of news. You guys know here I have been covering the Luma situation that's developing in Puerto Rico. And now it turns out that over 100 Puerto Rican organizations directed a letter to President Biden to actually cancel the fraudulent and illegal contract that Luma Energy has with Puerto Rico. I'm not gonna read the whole letter because it's extensive, it's 8 pages. So this is what they did in June 18. They sent a letter um, to the President Joe Biden to actually cancel, demanding that he cancels the Luma Energy contract. As you guys know, the contract is 849 pages. I've read now over 200 pages. It's very extensive, but it has several things that are very illegal in there. And the fact that our governor is not doing anything to stop this from happening or either revisiting, because every 5 minutes he changes his standpoint. Before he was elected, he was like, oh, if it doesn't actually protect the interest of the employees, then I will cancel the contract. Then when he got elected, it was like, well, I have to abide by the contract. What do you guys want me to do? But the door is still open to revisit the contract and amend it if need be. Now, when people are asking him to actually amend the contract, inaction has taken place on his end. So, several things, several points that they have brought up. I'm going to read them very briefly. The first one is the president and FEMA should ensure that federal funds are used in accordance with federal and local policies that promote moving away from fossil fuels, advancing the use of renewable energy, protecting workers' rights, and improving the health of people and the environment. Something that Luma obviously is not doing. The second point is the president should order FEMA to withhold any transfer of federal recovery funds for grid reconstruction in Puerto Rico until a thorough investigation and report on the Luma contract has been completed. You guys know that, of course, Luma Energy was assigned um, billions of dollars from federal funds that were granted just by President Biden. Now he, I think, appointed $6 billion for the reconstruction of the power grid and several other things in Puerto Rico. Um, and Luma Energy has literally no experience in this field. As you guys might recall, they just founded this LLC. Look, they're gonna get in total 20 billion in the whole contract. That's another thing that I forgot to say on my previous streams. They're going to this company, I'm sorry, was established just 21 days before they got this contract. So where did this company came from? How do we vet this company to be the best option for the Puerto Rican community? How do we even know that these people have a good reputation? I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Now, the third point that they put out is FEMA should condition any disbursement of funds on the review and amendments to PREPA's spending plan so as to ensure its full compliance with federal policies and laws. You guys know the PREPA is basically the oversight board, and they have a plan to control our spending, but somehow, you know, they are also inactive when it comes to the situation with Luma, which has rises a lot, has been frowned upon. So the organizations that actually wrote this letter for um, President Biden are the University of Puerto Rico Resiliency Law Center, Air Justice, Cambio, Unión de Trabajadores de la Industria Eléctrica y Riego, de UTIER, Comité de Diálogo Ambiental. And also, you can join the organizations if you want to support this movement for Puerto Ricans and from Puerto Ricans. And the movements are Adiestramiento y Desarrollo Organizacional, Inc., Afrodescendencia de Puerto Rico, Alianza Comunitaria Ambiental del Sureste, Alianza Pro Libre Asociación Soberana, Amigos del Río Guaynabo, APPU de Cayey, Asamblea de Pueblo de Bayamón, Asociación de Empleados Gerenciales de la Autoridad de Energía Eléctrica, Asociación de Jubilados de la Autoridad de Energía Eléctrica y la Asociación de Jubilados de la UPR, which is the Puerto Rican University. So these are the organizations, among many others. It's almost 100 organizations that actually joined forces to write this letter to President Biden, demanding that actually he cancels or at least revisit the contract that we have with Luma Energy. And let's point out something that I don't know how many of you guys know, but the power grid, since it was transferred almost a month ago to Luma Energy, now every day there's a sector in Puerto Rico that doesn't have power. That's so crazy because there was a lot of people saying, the supporters of Luma were saying, oh, let Luma work, let Luma do their thing, Luma is going to bring progress, we're so tired of the Puerto Rican Power Authority. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell it how it is. The power authority in Puerto Rico was trash. Okay, let's not take away from that. Yes, it was trash. And even though in the 90s and the early 2000s, we had a stellar power grid that in the Caribbean was the best, it's not the case today. After Maria, this shit don't work. And the power authority is trash. Now, I don't feel that we necessarily have to stay with the authority we have today, but come on, Luma. We can do better than Luma, don't you guys think? Put one in the chat if you think we can do better than just Luma Energy. Because it's like I said, just because something don't work, we don't have to replace it with something worse. So like I said, it's something that it's really, really crazy to me to see that we have to go to this length to actually get shit done. Why our governor is not doing anything to actually get this stuff properly handled. And I want to make a call, even though, of course, we have a small platform here. Thank you guys for putting the one supporting that we replace Luma with something else. But I'm concerned, Pedro Pierluisi. Like, you're supposed to be the person that ensures that the administration of the American colony is properly done. You have had experience before on this shit. You have been in Congress. You have been a congressman for so many years, yet I don't know what the hell are you doing right now. It seems like you intentionally are ignoring this topic in the hopes that people will forget. Because in the past, that's something we have done as Puerto Ricans, and that's our mistake. We let things swipe to the left, swipe to the left, to the right, and in the hopes that it will get better, or if we just work more, things will get solved. And that's not the case. But at the end of the day, this is an exploitative freaking contract. There's no way we can pay for this shit. And you should do something. You should be ashamed of yourself for actually going back on your word. But I would say that even though it's Pierluisi's responsibility to actually do something, I want to blame the pro statehood mummies, zombies, I will call them. You want to know why? Because we have overwhelming proof that the new Progressive Party does not work, that the Democratic Party does not work, that both parties suck, and we still vote for these motherfuckers. So at the end of the day, is it really Pierluisi's fault? I don't think so. It's our fault for letting these people get into power. It's our fault for not actually using the only thing that can ensure or phantom a democracy to actually use it for our betterment. So at the end of the day, I blame us Puerto Ricans. The worst thing, there was somebody that said a while ago that the worst thing for Puerto Ricans was a Puerto Rican that doesn't want to do what we're supposed to do in order for us to better ourselves. And one of those things that start with that as a duty is voting for the better option for your people. No one is going to be perfect, but at least, come on now. We can vote better than for Pierluisi. We can vote better for any other party. Let's just vote in somebody like him. He ran for governorship. Why wouldn't vote it for him? Come on. So, like I said, that's all I have on news today. And you guys know how we do it here. So, the main topic today. I'm going to take my time to actually discuss this because this is something that needs to be said, okay? So if anybody has thin skin, this is the moment to leave. This is a disclaimer. If you do not have a thick skin, this is the moment to exit the conversation and you won't be missed. Now, for all of those that actually don't get offended by things that are not politically correct, let's just move into today's topic. And I'm going to start by sharing some information that I came across by researching minimalism. And as today's show is named, is Minimalism the Solution? I'm going to share with you guys what I have found, and we will take discussion a little bit further. But it says, are there 300,000 items in the average American household and 10,000 items in the average European household? And it says there is a trope that can be found in many articles discussing topics such as consumerism or minimalism. The average number of items that can be found in an average household. The number that is usually cited for the average American household is 300,000 items and 10,000 items for the average European household. Unfortunately, these articles don't provide any reliable source for their numbers. The LA Times article quoted below is sometimes named as a source, but that article itself just names a professional organizer as the reference. Now, I'm going to say something. This has been proven by LA Times before, okay? And not only Blood Moon. Oh, Blood. Oh, God. Oh my God, Blood Moon, you made my day. She said, I am a hoarder and a maximalist. Oh my God, I'm dead. But one thing I would say is that It is in the hundreds of thousands the amount of items that Americans possess. The average American household has 300,000 items in their household. And let's talk about it, okay? You guys know that since I started this a month and a half ago, um, there has been certain commentary, subtle and direct, where people are like, well, not everybody needs to be a millionaire. Not everybody wants to be in corporate America. Not everybody wants to actually be an entrepreneur. Okay, that's completely fine. Now, I'm going to ask these same people that believe that they don't need to have a business, they don't need to get into corporate America. I'm going to ask you something. Do you have $20,000 on your savings account? Do you have $20,000 in your savings account? If the answer is no, then you have a problem. And I'm going to explain why. You guys know that during COVID, most of us depleted our savings massively because it was, come on, 18 months in confinement basically, and we were not getting a lot of work done and getting paid for it. So obviously, we had to tap into our savings a lot, and that created a lot of imbalance. Now, we saw two different reactions to this. People that went into like maximum austerity, and people that actually went into maximum consumerism. We saw people spending their stimulus checks on TVs and stuff like that, and pools and all kinds of shit that they will never be able to afford if it wasn't for the COVID-19 stimulus check. But we also saw people that were like, no, I'm going to try to save as much as I can. I'm going to try to uh maximize my money. I'm going to try to, now that I got a stimulus check, let me invest in the stock market. So we have two types of mentalities, and I want you guys to ask yourself, where do you fit? We know already that Blood Moon is a maximalist, so she probably was buying a 55-inch screen TV for her kitchen. So even though she didn't need it, I'm pretty sure she has a 75-inch TV on her living room, but she wanted a 55 uh inch screen for her kitchen while she does dishes and cook to also watch TV. So back to to the seriousness of the topic, right? um do you really need all this shit? Do you really need 17 things of the same? And don't get me wrong, I have been a maximalist like Blood Moon myself. Okay. There are things, obviously I don't purchase just gimmicks and stuff like that, but I go more for like home improvement and stuff like that. And I'm a huge shopaholic of home decor, so guilty. Okay, I've been there too. But we have to start asking ourselves, do you really want those things, or you need them? Because your money is invested in that. And the way I see money is like this: you get paid a specific amount, either from 7.25, which is the minimum wage, all the way to 27, 30, $40 an hour, for doing what you do. Hi, Pamela. Welcome. So every time that you spend money on something, you're spending not money. Money is just the quantification of your time. So every time that you put $1,000 into something, you're actually putting the hours that actually cost you to obtain that $1,000 into that item. And that's the way we have to start shopping. If you're not willing to be an entrepreneur, if you don't have the guts to actually get into corporate America and get into a better financial situation, then you have to get rid of your shit. You don't need to live among all these things that you barely touch. If you have not touched something in the last 6 months, it's time to put that shit on offer up. It's time to sell that shit. So, like I said, how many things in your house you do not even know you possess anymore? Do you really need to buy that other set of glasses that you're not going to touch? Do you really need to buy another haul of clothing knowing that you have not emptied your closet, either donated or sold those clothes? Do you need more baskets? Do you need more organizing bins? Do you need more and more and more? That concept of consumerism for people that are regular folk, blue collar workers, or even medium class is not a notion that you want to adopt. We have to, if you're not willing to work for more money, you have to then work to save as much as you can. Because the way I see it, the economy, even though it moves on consumerism and capitalism in order to produce more opportunities for people, at the same time, I believe that only people that have the money to afford this lifestyle should embark into this lifestyle. And with that being said, the way you should play with your economics is very simple. It's almost as the game Monopoly. If you're good at Monopoly, you'll be good at money if you apply the same principles into your life. And I'm going to explain why. The the concept of having a healthy financial uh stability, I would say, or situation, is that you have to be able to preserve two-thirds of what you make and only put out one third goes into savings, one third goes into spending. Now, the game here is to obtain the most you can without having to put out the most. That's what makes somebody intelligent or savvy in finances. If you make $3,000 each month, you're supposed to only spend among your living costs and your entertainment and stuff $1,000. That means that you really don't need all those subscriptions to Netflix, Prime, HBO, Disney Plus, and whatnot. That means that you also cannot go on binges of shopping for stupid shit you don't need. And that also means that you have in your house, you're sitting probably on a savings account. So, like I said, it's time to put that shit on OfferUp or the Facebook Marketplace or eBay or whatnot. It's time to get the money, the bad investment that you did into these things that you purchased that you do not need and do not take you any further because you don't even fucking use them. Put them to use by selling them away. Say goodbye, do a ceremony. I don't care what you do, but it's time to get rid of this shit. Okay? You don't need all this stuff. And at the end of the day, when you die, you will be leaving your children a lot of shit to pack. And guess what? All that shit that you love and cherish that you have every day is going to go into the trash. So it's time to get this shit out. I read an article. I'm sorry I didn't brought it today. But I read an article that one in every four Americans is a hoarder and has a clutter problem. That means that probably out of the 11 people that are watching me live right now, probably three people or four people are hoarders. Is that you? You know, are you one of the people that actually have a lot of cluttering in your house? Can you find everything in your house? Can you quantify everything you have in your house? Do you touch every item that you have in your house in a month's time span? Now, Blood Moon says hoarding is an illness. I have trouble getting rid of it. Well, therapy. It's time to go to therapy because you have to figure out um, why you're holding on to things. There's usually an underlying issue as to why you feel the urge to store things. I don't know your past, and I'm no one to judge because, like I said, I have been guilty of it too. We all have a lot of clutter at some point in our lives, but we have to start getting rid of it. So Ramon said, both my sister and I. This good body said, God body says, I used to be a sneaker hoarder. Yeah, that's another that. Okay, I want to speak on that one. You know, I have a friend that I will not name because I love him very much and he's like a brother to me. But he used to say and complain, oh, I don't have a car. I don't have a car. I don't have a car. And one day he invited us to his house. And when we went to his house, we saw that he had 200 different pairs of sneakers from Jordans to GCs to all kinds of shit. Okay. And I'm telling you, it was hundreds of pairs, hundreds. And you guys know the sneakers ain't cheap. And we were telling him like, dude, you complain you don't have a car, but your car is in your walls. You don't have a car because you exchange the money that you could purchase a vehicle with for shoes. Make that make sense. Sell all that shit and actually purchase a vehicle. At first, he got angry, kind of like, try to brush it off and start like, wrapping things up in his house so that we can get the fuck out of there. But eventually, he started selling his tennis shoes and he bought himself a vehicle. I won't say the vehicle, but you guys know it was a bucket car. But at the same time, now he has a vehicle. Uh, Godbody said, "That's me, except I have a vehicle." Yeah, but Godbody, do you own a house? Blumon says, "My brother had over 100 pairs." That's not healthy. That's all I'm saying. If you don't own a house, if you don't own a vehicle, if you don't have at least $20,000 in savings, you should not be buying all that shit. That's all I'm saying. So it's like I said, it's something, it's a principle that we have to start adopting, because it's something weird to me that we put into possessions. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not judging anybody, but you have to really question yourself and be more realistic with yourself and say, why am I putting so much depositing so much emotional gratification in obtaining an item? What am I depositing so much emotional attachment to an item? Why do I need to buy an item that I probably will stop loving in the next 2 months? That's something that I want to think about, and I want you guys to think about, because it's kind of weird, this notion that consumerism somehow it's higher in the poorer communities. Let's just put it out there. You see rich people and billionaires owning less. Example number one, look at the Kardashians, look at fucking Kanye West, look at Elon Musk. If you go into their houses, they don't own all this shit, and they have the money to purchase that and still not be broke. But you have poor people with more shit that they can afford. Make that make sense. You have the rich owning less, the poor owning more. Why? Why? Ramon says most of those sneakers were used only once. Yes, definitely. Sell those motherfuckers. Fuck the sneakers. Oh, Jordan came out with a new pair of sneakers. Fuck Jordan. He has billions. And he doesn't have all those fucking shoes in there. He probably has his own shoes because sentimentalism or probably history or whatnot, but he will not buy your shoe every time you put out one. um Music only says the only thing that's worth investing in is your body. Buy whey protein. And yeah, that's another notion. I appreciate that. Yeah, why you don't invest the same money that you invest in your freaking sneakers or the fucking designer watches and whatnot? Why you don't put that money into your body? Come on. Why, instead of saying, hey, I'm gonna buy this whole new Jordans that are out there, or the Steph Currys or whatnot, instead of buying that shit, why you don't purchase a session with a personal trainer? How about that? So it's like I said, it's something that it's a notion that you are stripping yourself from the life that you can have. It's just that you're putting the funds into things that you don't need. And why that happens? Because we're too overexposed to propaganda. When you can't actually separate yourself from consuming and buying and changing and this and that, is because you have to realize, hey, I have to stop watching so much marketing. We're very prone to actually marketing strategies. Let's not forget that we're numbers to marketing companies. And like I said, they put little things that look very shiny, very attractive, and they make you feel like you need them. But do you really need them? That's all I'm saying. Do you really need them? Because it seems to me like all of us have a dream. All of us want to do something, but we always say, "Oh, I don't have the money, so I have to wait, or I have to." You do have the money. You're sitting in the fucking money. Get rid of the shit. Okay, get rid of the shit that you don't need. It's time to move past that because, like I said before, you have rich people that actually can afford all these things living in a minimalism way. And you have the poor people that actually cannot afford this shit and cannot even afford their dreams. They cannot even afford to tell their boss, fuck you, buying all these things. Make that shit make fucking sense. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And you have to start thinking like that if you're not willing to make more money. If you don't want to work extra, if you don't want to put in the 18 hours that Elon Musk puts into work or any other entrepreneur, if you don't want to work more than 60, 70 hours per week, 90, 120 hours, if you don't want to do this stuff, then you have to choose minimalism as the solution to your financial situation. It's not pretty and it's not intelligent to be sitting in all this money when in reality you do not use all of this stuff. So, music only account says a 40-pound dumbbell is worth more than a pair of Jordans. Of course, any time of the day. Any time of the day. Jose says, I paid only $20 on my pair of sneakers. I bought them on eBay. Exactly. It goes back to this notion of keeping up with the Joneses. You know, we see with social media, and that's something that I'm willing to dive into, but with social media, I don't know if you guys have noticed that now we have more access to see other people's lives. And the reason why many people purchase things is because we compare ourselves too much. There's a principle in the Bible, even though you guys know I don't necessarily believe in the notion of God, but there's a principle in the Bible that it's actually very clever. And it's coveting. It's one of the commandments, and it's when you covet something. But if you think about it, you covet things that you see every day. You covet things that you see every day. So when you're exposing yourself to social media constantly, you're seeing all the things that, oh, look, my cousin got this new house and she painted her walls with like this stone finish that's worth $300 and whatnot. You go ahead and you do the same shit. But then later on, you see another person that has a slated wall. And then you go ahead and you buy that and you make this slated wall. And that shit happens with everything. We're seeing people buying their Teslas, their Mercedes, their all this stuff. And you start comparing yourself too much because you're overexposed to this propaganda and not realizing that these people are actually paid to do these things to you. They actually profit from you purchasing these things from them. Because for those who do not believe me, when I first started this whole YouTube journey, I'm going to share something that, it's out there anyway. So there's something called affiliate program. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with that, but the affiliate program works this way. For example, I'm a YouTuber and I want to maximize my earnings. And you guys know that AdSense is not the way to go because AdSense really doesn't pay you that much. If you study the algorithm in YouTube, you will realize that. But you can reach out to Amazon with your platform and say, hey, I want to join the affiliates program that you guys have, or Walmart or Target and whatnot. And I want to promote certain things, certain products. So you get these products, you review them on your channel, and you tag them below. How many of you guys have seen? Put number one in the chat if you have seen that there's people that, if you have watched a video where a YouTuber actually tells you, hey, I will leave the link to this product in the description below. If you have heard that before, put a number one in the chat. I see that all of our put a number one. If you have, let me tell you something. When you go, for example, in Amazon and you click that description and you go into Amazon and you purchase that item or any other item, that YouTuber, from all of your purchases in the next, I think, 3 days or so, they will get paid a cut from it. So this is what marketing is. And it's something that we have to understand. They are getting you for one item in Amazon. But in reality, we all know that when we hit that Amazon app, we're not just going to buy one item. We're going to buy the batteries that go with it. We're going to buy the things that, match with that, or a little candle, or a little gimmick, or a little light, or a little this, or a little that. And all of those things actually go and pay a cut to the YouTuber. So in reality, they're just selling you shit and you love them for it somehow. So that's what I'm saying with the whole minimalism situation that we're not understanding pretty well. But Pamela says, this is why I agree with Melanie and I, seeing things online draw people, well, draw people in, and they end up acting out what they see, buying items showed on Insta, YouTube, etc. Exactly. Yeah. That's something that it's what's pushing consumerism to the point it is. If you look at how much people consume probably 30 years ago, it's nowhere near how we are today. And it's because of social media. So if the next time that Plum Moon, Plum Moon, you're killing me today. She's like, Amazon is my favorite store. I am making pesos richer. Trust me, we all have an Amazon addiction that we have to get rid of. Okay, we might have to start as an Amazon shopaholic recovery support group or something like that. Okay, because we have all been here, myself included. I go in to buy, I have an espresso machine, and I buy my pots from them, and I can't help myself. Sometimes, I get out of this program and actually purchase things that I actually were not supposed to. So it's like I said, it's something that even myself, I'm guilty of it. So we have to change our mind a little bit more into, do I need something? Is this worth the time that I put in the work to actually obtain this money to invest it in this product? Am I going to get the return from the product for the time that I put in or invested into the product? That's something that I want you guys to start questioning yourself. Ramon says, I'm recovering from eBay shopping. Definitely. Oh my God. Music only account says, I was going to buy a gym belt in Amazon and ended up buying gloves, knee pads, and a forearm exerciser. You know what? Music only. It's crazy because there was, I think there was some bands that I bought, resistance bands, that I actually don't fucking need, but still bought them because they looked like they were low impact and they were strong. And I read the reviews and I was like, I need this. And I bought them several months ago. So it's like I said, it's something that you have to start looking into, because this, it's something I always talk with my family members and my friends. We have to understand that we were not born in the digital era precisely. So we're very, very vulnerable to it. Our kids, because they were born seeing these things, they might not be. They might be able to actually use the internet and social media to their benefit. Whereas us, we are very vulnerable and used by social media and the internet. We have come to the point where we are already avatars and we have not even realized it. If you don't believe me that you're an avatar, why you personalize your phone? If you look at your cell phone right now and you pick it up, you realize that your cell phone doesn't look anything near somebody that has the same cell phone as you. Why? Because this is an extension of yourself. The phone is an extension of your persona and it reflects it. So that already is an avatar. If you don't believe that we're already in this digital era and we're vulnerable to it, like I said, every time you doubt this, look at your cell phone. You already have artificial intelligence as an extension of yourself. So before we go and let people in, I'm going to have today an open panel like I used to. But before we let people in, you guys know I always do my intermission. Don't go anywhere. And I want to ask the 14 people that are here today. We're having a more chill kind of subject. I know some people are going to get triggered, but like I said, before we go into intermission, just question yourself. how much money, and I want you guys to put a rough number on the chat, just to indulge me with this. How much do you think the items in your household are worth? How much money do you think, if you were to empty your house, how much money are you living into? Please put that in the comment section. I won't judge you, I promise you. And whoever judges you, well, fuck them. But just put that in the comment section, because I want to know exactly um, how you guys feel about this, you know? So, like I said, put in the comment section, how much do you think the items you possess are worth? And before we leave, I'm going to put the link in the chat, and you guys are welcome to come. You guys know I always take 5 minutes so everybody can go use the bathroom, grab their snacks, grab your beer, your wine, whatever you want to grab. Let's have the discussion today. I'm feeling kind of good now. But to be honest with you, put it in the chat. How much do you think you're sitting on? How much money do you think you have spent in all the items that you have in your house? If you were to sell them today, how much money you think you will be making? Um, and like I said, I'm gonna put the link in the description box, in the chat, I'm sorry, so you guys can join and share your thoughts with me on this whole consumerism versus minimalism. And let's realize that this is a solution that we actually have to adopt in order for us to have some, little safety net, in order for us to be able to tell that nasty boss that we have, fuck you. Okay. So before we do that, I'm going to go into intermission. It's 8:27 where I'm at. Now, I'm going to be back at 8:32. So you guys grab your snacks, go grab that wine or that beer. It's Monday, but who cares? We still have some time to have fun, and I'll be back in 5 minutes, okay? And also, before I leave, for the 11 people that are here watching, well, the 14 people that are here watching, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, because it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me grow my channel. So, without any further ado, let's go into intermission. I'll be back. And we are back, people. And I see that some of you guys have commented on the amount of money that you think you're sitting on. I see that Blood Moon said over 100,000 when it was new. Now half of that probably. Wow, Blood Moon. Blood Moon, we gotta talk. We gotta talk. Now, Pamela says 345,000 because we end up getting some high quality furniture. Girl, guilty. Restoration hardware. Let me tell you something. Restoration hardware will get you broke. Okay? Let's just put that out there. Their furniture is beautiful, but it will get you broke. And you can definitely find cheaper ways to do so, or at least indulge yourself with just one piece and leave the other pieces alone. Now, before I let people in, I want to remind you, follow me on Instagram, denise.gonzalez.villegas1, so that you can keep in touch with me. Also, if you have any questions, you can literally shoot me an email and I will reply to you in a timely manner. So if you have any questions or inquiries, if you want to ask me a question or you want me to respond on the show, if you want me to do a specific interview or bring somebody that specializes on something specifically, you can shoot me an email, ask me to do it, and I will do my best to reply to you and actually bring that professional here to actually have this discussed. So before I let people in, I want to remind you guys that the views and statements of the guests do not necessarily represent those of the channel and or those of the panel members, as some comments may be offensive to select groups of people. Also, remember that by calling into the live show, you waive your rights to the use of your image and likeness for the purposes of this show. So without any further ado, I'm going to welcome all aboard Ramon and Jose. Guys, how you doing?
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
All
Hello, you guys.
right.
Hello, Denise.
How you guys doing?
Okay,
Ah, not too bad.
actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, not too bad. Not too bad on this evening for a Monday. Not too bad.
It was a Monday. Were you dragging your feet? Did you party too much, Ramon? Because you sound like you went a little bit overboard
Ah,
yesterday. Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It's just, I might sound a little different because I'm not using the my usual setup. So Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I don't
But
know. Were you
Well,
I'm
all
good.
aboard or overboard? That's the thing.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
you're good, good. Well, happy Father's Day if you're a father. If not, well, happy Father's Day to your father.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes.
So,
Well,
so let's
happy
go ahead.
Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, but now let's not forget the single mothers who have to be fathers as well. Okay, because
Yes.
that's a different role. Actually, in my case, it's been 9 years since my father passed away, and he passed away around the time of my birthday. So, but
That's a tough one.
he did live to be 83 years old, so he lived a long life. Um,
All right.
Actually, to be honest, usually on this time I usually sleep,
I
but this
know. I came in later today because I was hesitant. Like it's Monday. I've had some stuff going on. You guys know that it's been like a roller coaster in my life lately, but
yeah.
I made a commitment and whatnot. And also, this subject had to be, discussed. And I had a conversation with a good friend of mine that said, no, go ahead and do it. And I did it. I followed her advice and I'm here. So thanks to her. Kudos to her.
And it's good. Like I'm already engaged in the conversation. Like, I think this is probably gonna be one of your top 10 streams.
We'll see. We'll see. Now,
We'll
you
see.
guys, what are your thoughts on how Goddess? How are you? What's up? I haven't seen you in a while. You've been missed. Howdy. So I want to start with All Aboard, then Jose, and then Ramon. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that minimalism is the solution for people to be in a better financial position when they don't want to engage into the whole corporate sector or entrepreneurship? Do you guys think that we should start owning less stuff? What do you guys think about this? Go ahead, All Aboard.
Okay. I think minimalism is definitely the way to go because from my experience and from what I've seen with other people from their mistakes is that when you have too much, you don't really utilize everything properly. For one, right? Even in in a business, for example, when you get too many gadgets, it kind of takes away from what you're actually doing. If you notice, people can take a little taco stand and turn that into a business and then eventually turn it into a restaurant. But I think until you're a minimalist, you shouldn't be um, buying a whole bunch of things. Until you can work with a little, I don't think it's smart to have a whole bunch of things because think about it. A lot of these people end up getting evicted. They end up, um, or they don't have a place to stay in the beginning, right? And then having to move all those things around is also a burden and a problem. I've seen so many people where they have to get storage units and things like that for their property.
Yeah.
So I think a minimalist is best.
Definitely. And now that you bring that topic, that point on, if you think about it, the whole notion of storage places, you pay what, $250, $300 for these places a month. Now, if you calculate in a year, we're talking about $3,600. Now, some people have had these storage places for what, 5, 10 years, sometimes 20. We're talking about almost $70,000 in 20 years of storage just by paying $300 a month. Now, imagine if you were to get rid of all that stuff, either let it go, like the
Let it
the
go.
app is called Let It Go, like Frozen, let it go, and actually put those $300 into your savings. Literally in 20
Or put
years
it
you
in
could
the
have
stock
almost
market.
100K.
Or put it into the stock market since you're gonna lose it anyway.
Of course, of course. That's wasted money. So I appreciate that you brought that point on. No, say no to the storage facility, okay? No to them.
If you have
Not
nowhere to put it, then you don't need it. And I know it's
yeah,
hard if it's like sentimental items, sentimental, right? But
yeah.
like
No more
Denise,
sentimental
like you were
bullshit.
saying, you what you said is when you die, this stuff is gonna be thrown away. This
Yeah.
stuff only has value to you. And I think the sooner you can let go of the value, right? And you can keep the memories, but you don't have to hold on to these things. Like there's some things in our house that we have, and you know what? You're inspiring me to clean my closet, unfortunately. Sheesh, because I have a bunch of things. But um yeah, those things can be put to better use. Someone else can use them. And it frees up your your life. It's like detoxifying.
Yeah, it's Sell Your Shit 2021. Okay. That's the season we're in. And I put it in the chat so that people can understand. Sell Your Shit 2021. Now I'm going to move to Jose. Jose, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think minimalism is the way? Should we own less stuff to actually maximize our financial stability and our income?
Well, I think if we're going to have stuff, it should not be a lot, but it should be quality stuff, stuff that we actually going to use. I'm just thinking about all the furniture I have in my apartment, the air conditioners I have, the one TV which I have in the living room. I have a couple of lamps. I have some stuff that I got from my mother's place when she passed away. I think I paid maybe in total over time, maybe $4,000 or $5,000. And basically, the biggest expenses were the air conditioner, because unfortunately here in Parkchester, you can't just get any air conditioner. You have to buy a specific type of air conditioner, and then you have to pay the management to install it, because the windows we have a space in the middle, and that's where the air conditioner is. Unfortunately, people tend to collect junk or stuff. So I think it's better not to have a lot, but what you have that you could actually use. And
Yeah.
let me tell you something. I don't know if you can see this. This is the sneakers I bought
On eBay? Those are
on
the
eBay.
sneakers. Oh, wow. And they do the same function as the 200 Jordans.
Yes, and I only paid $20 for them, and they're comfortable. Now, it was funny. It's funny because my youngest sister always calls me the Puerto Rican Jew because I don't like to waste money.
Yeah, because that's the way to go. But look at this. You live like that, but at the end of the day, you're a homeowner.
Exactly.
Ah, you see? So it's like I said, at the end of the day, do you really need to buy all this shit that's overpriced at the end of the day? Hell no. And
No.
all these things, think about it. If you look at the tax, do me a favor, guys. Look at the tax of the stuff that you have paid a lot of money for, and tell me if they're not made in China. Tell me if they're not made in China. Most of these things are either made in China, Vietnam, Taiwan. Most of these things are not really properly made or handmade for you to be paying all that money. Blood Moon says, Jose, those sneakers will break right away. Jordan's last of you.
I can tell Blood Moon has bunions on her feet because she
Okay,
wears
but
those
you know something?
uncomfortable.
I have owned these sneakers for over 6 months, and they're still in good condition.
Can I
That's
just
all I got to say about that.
if I can interrupt for one moment? I remember going to school with really wealthy children, and you can tell the difference. The kids with a lot of money that came from wealthy families, they came to school, they didn't buy even brand new clothes, brand new shoes. They would come to
Yeah.
school with just their regular clothes. Meanwhile, it was the poor kids that are living in poverty that are coming to school, and their parents have to spend at least $1,000 to get them shoes, clothes, to get them their hair cut and their hair done, to go to school for the first couple of weeks, right? But
Yeah.
the white kids, the rich, which are normally the ones with money, they came to school like it was the summer. They came to school with khaki shorts, beat up shoes, and they came to school and they drove to school. You know, so think about
Because
that.
at the end of the day, rich people know how to actually maximize their money. Something that we don't know. Like
No,
if you I'm gonna show you guys. Look at this guy. I'm gonna show you guys something. Look at this guy, and you guys tell me this is one of the richest guys on earth. And this is how he dresses. The majority of Mark Zuckerberg's, this is only when he was in Congress, but the majority of the time, this dude is in a fucking t-shirt. This dude literally is in a fucking t-shirt everywhere he goes. Unless he's on freaking Congress or a business meeting. And if you think about it, this shirt that he has right here doesn't distinguish too much from this one. And you guys are buying the Gucci's and all this stuff. It's like I said, we have rich people wearing and owning less. Meanwhile, the poor owns a lot of shit. So I don't want to hear no complaints when people say, oh, the rich are getting richer. You're making them rich. Rich kids knew how to fucking dress sloppy, like Blood Moon says, because they know that spending money on brand clothes is stupid. Now I'm going to move to Ramon. Ramon, what are your thoughts on today's topic? Do you think minimalism is the solution? Do you think minimalism is the way to go when you don't want to maximize the amount of money you generate? Are you there, Ramon?
Yeah, I was muted. I was muted for a
Okay.
moment. Okay. When it comes to that, many people, a lot of people will benefit from it. Unfortunately, people that are supposed to be living within certain means, uh, they are trying to compensate by being somewhat flashy, because there are some of the people that are getting more of the brand name clothing, and they need to have the shirts that have some kind of brand name on them. They're not understanding that the price that they're paying for those clothing, they're paying mostly for the name itself, not for the article of clothing itself. The article of clothing could have came from China, just like just about everything else. They just add the names to it. They just slap the name on it, and they charge like a couple of $100 on top of it. Um, so definitely, one can find clothing that is nice. It can be fitting. It can be useful, and it can even be long lasting. Because sometimes the very expensive clothing rips apart and comes apart after a short period of time. Yeah, it has the brand name, but it comes apart and it doesn't last. Like for example, years ago, I got myself a pair of Nikes that it cost me something like $120 or something like that. I learned the lesson. I never did that again. But shortly after that, there was this kind of like suede material that it had on them, that it started to come apart, and they were looking very raggedy, and they were not that old. It had the whole almost the whole sole underneath it, and but the suede type material that was covering the shoe started to come apart because they were poorly put together, and they were a pair of Nikes, and it cost me all that money, but but it still started to come apart, and I couldn't wear it so much after a certain time because they were looking very worn down and raggedy, even though they were not that old.
Oh,
Like
wow.
or like a but I have bought kind of like denim shorts that were not necessarily brand name, that were of a very stiff material that has lasted me for years. Maybe a Levi's wouldn't have lasted me that long. So it's kind of like a discernment type of thing, and it costs me less and all. So discernment is necessary. Or uh, when it comes to clutter, it's like I myself have to make a decision over some clothing that I have that don't fit me anymore. So I have to decide whether I trim down and I lose weight, or I throw those clothes away, because some of those clothes are in very good condition, barely used, and I don't want to throw them away, but I will have to lose weight so I can fit in them again because I have gotten a little bigger.
But you know
So
what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
yeah,
That, to be honest with you, um the whole notion of having clothes that don't fit you is like so negative to a degree. Why
yeah.
are you actively you and don't answer this because this is personal, of course, but you have
Mm.
to ask yourself, am I actively and realistically going to lose weight? If the answer is no, and you don't have time, and you will start in 2 months and 3 months and whatnot, it's time to get rid of those clothes. Because if you think about it, you have a reminder in your closet every day that of something that you could not accomplish right now for whatever reason, either for personal, emotional reasons or financial reasons and whatnot. So why do you need that reminder right there?
Yeah. Now, in my case, me not exercising, it does have to do with a health issue. Uh, but yeah, a part of me doesn't want to get rid of it because I'm like, I can get back in those clothes. I can get back in them, but I have to solve this issue that I'm having so I can get back to exercising again, trim down, and I can fit in those clothes again. So a part of me is kind of telling myself that like I don't want to give up. I don't I
Well,
don't want
I,
to
if I
become a
may
slob.
if I may make a suggestion, give
Yeah.
yourself a goal. Say, hey, in 90 days, I'm going to fit in this size. If I can't, I'll get rid of the clothes. Compromise?
But are the clothes
Because
Uh,
fashionable, or are you gonna look like you're going back to 2005?
No, 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 because my clothes are, I don't have clothes that old. No, I don't have clothes that old. I do have a pair, I do have a pair of champion shoes, champion
Do
sneakers
you have true
that go
religion jeans?
through religion.
Ouch. Yeah.
I don't, I don't know anything about that.
well, to be
No,
honest
I
with
don't
you,
have
look,
anything that old.
I got
Yeah,
rid of all of my heels when I got my injury in 2018. I got rid of all the heels because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try to strengthen my knee. I'm gonna try because I suffered an injury on my knee and I could not wear them anymore. But I was in denial,
yeah.
and I had to accept it. I'm like, I'm not gonna wear this fucking 6-inch heel anymore. I've gained weight
Mm.
a lot, and I have, I can't. I just can't. I'm too injured for that, and it's gonna mess up my hip. So no, and I had to get rid of them, and it was hard, but I did. One day I said, you know what? Fuck this. They're out. This is an energy I don't need in my house. Now I'm going to move from Ramon. I'm going to go to Rakim that has been patiently waiting. What's up, Rakim?
What's up, Denise? And what's up to everybody on the panel? What's up to all aboard, Ramon and Jose?
Good evening, Joaquin.
Hello, Rakim.
So, Rakim, what do you think about today's topic? Do you think minimalism is the solution? Do you think we should own less stuff that we cannot afford? Or you think we should continue with this consumerism and, come what may?
No, I absolutely agree. I believe that minimalism is definitely should definitely be practiced. Because a lot of us do fall victim to consumerism. A lot of us fall victim to marketing and the way things that are presented to us. And then another thing that people don't think of, when you already have a problem with consumerism, then you throw in impulse buying, which where you may feel that, you just may see something and you're like, I know I shouldn't get this, but I'm gonna get it anyway. Or you might be going through some stuff, and some people, when they get depressed, they buy things, or some people buy things to cheer themselves up. So I definitely think that in order to combat that, like you said once earlier in the stream, get some therapy, and look into the reasons that you may hoard things, why you may like to purchase things a lot, because a lot of things depreciate with value. Not everything, but a lot of things depreciate with value as time goes on. And when you look back on a lot of things that you may have spent money on, and you just think, wow, I could have had a small fortune by now had I not purchased a lot of those things.
Definitely, definitely. That's the thing. We're sitting on the money that we need today. We spent it years ago. And that's something that should be learned from. And it's like I said, this is something for people that I believe are pushing back from the notion of getting into the corporate sector and also getting into entrepreneurship. If you're not willing to do that, then why you own so much shit? Because in reality, you have to spend, like I said before, a third of the stuff you make. If you are spending more, then you need to downsize or either work more. So before we continue, I want to share with you guys something, so you guys can understand the logic that I'm talking about. This is the logic that I'm talking about today. This is what we're seeing before our faces. You have the broke person
That
spending.
looks like the average Dominican man, if I may say.
If you want to identify how broke a person is, look at their clothing. They will let you know. The more expensive the clothing, the more broke they are. The more simplistic, the more money they have, if you think about it. Because these things are supposed to serve a purpose, not to impress people that actually don't give a shit about you. Who cares that a new iPhone is out if your iPhone 8 is working? Many of you guys know I still have the iPhone 8 because it works fine. It serves me a purpose. I don't care.
So do I.
Yeah, the new iPhone is cool. I'm not gonna lie, but come on, do I really need it? Do I really need it? No, I don't. I really don't need it. So, like I said, let's start owning less. Now, I'm gonna let Terrell express himself on his opinion on this. So, Terrell, welcome to today's show. What's your opinion? Do you think minimalism is the solution? Do you think we should start purchasing less things and actually purchase things that we actually need on a day to day life, or you think we should keep owning shit?
Well, I really believe we do need to practice minimalism and start saving money and not stop buying all the stuff that we need to keep buying. We need to buy the stuff that we need and don't buy the stuff we don't need and stop wasting money, because saving money is the key to this day. It's just like today, I've been saving money. I only buy what I need. I don't buy all that extra junk. And buying $200 pair of Jordans and chains and funny looking t-shirts and belts. It's just a waste of money, and it's just a waste of time, and you could spend that money on something else. You could invest that money, could put it into a business where you could got more money out of it weeks later or months later, like doing a stock. And I feel like a lot of people want to dress rich, but really they be broke just to impress people. And the rich people just be dressing how they want just to feel comfortable. And,
Yeah,
and most people that try and dress rich to impress people, they usually try and impress other broke people. So they
exactly, exactly. That's my point. You're trying to impress people that are broke as well.
they appealing to losers, and because nobody should give a damn if somebody what people think about them or not. You only should live for yourself, not for other people. Because I live by where I dress how I want to like, and you don't like it, oh well. Because people put to sell people for who they are, not for what they wear, what they have, and what they look like. It's supposed to be you put to judge people on their character, not materialistic things. And the one thing that's a problem here in America is a lot of people nowadays is too materialistic. We gotta have money, we gotta have this, we gotta have that, we gotta have drugs, we gotta have alcohol, fancy house, car, fancy clothes, the beach house, pets, but we don't value the basic things that we have. We just want to go expensive just to show off and look good for social media. so we can get that nice good man we trying to get, or a nice good woman that's just going to end up using you, take advantage of you, and using you for your money. Then later on they're going to force you and going to want to ask for child support, or what that called where you been with a person 5 years and they automatically get money from you until they get married again. So yeah,
Common law. Alimony?
Alimony.
alimony, yes.
Alimony.
Definitely, definitely. And I see that Blood Moon was like, oh my God, saving money for what? To die and live it instead of enjoying it. Well, you can enjoy it, Blood Moon, because you will have enough money by the age of 45 to actually retire in peace
Let
and
me
go
say
travel the world. Of course.
you're supposed to be good to save money. I don't know what Blood Moon talk about. She's a school teacher, so she should know this. The teacher's supposed to
Hold
teach
on.
them
Hold
to
up.
invest money and save money.
Hold up. Hold
If
up.
I can chime in for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, Jose.
One thing about civil servants, we don't make a lot of money. I mean, because, and the reason why we accept that concept because of the benefits that come with being a civil servant. Now, I remember when I took my mother on vacation to Florida. Now, I saved some money. And of course, mothers are always worrying, oh, that you're spending too much money. You're spending too much money. First of all, it's not all that expensive. And I go away on vacation to enjoy myself. You know, if I wanted to go out to a nice place to eat, I'm going to go to a nice place to eat. If I want to sit and chill by the pool, I'm going to chill by the pool. If I want to go a couple places, I'm going to do so. Because if I have to be worrying about saving money on the vacation, that defeats the purpose of going on a vacation. And there's nothing wrong for saving money, particularly if you're going to use it for a productive purpose. In my case, I use it to buy a condo. It could be a car. It could be a house or what have you. Unfortunately, you have some people that just live for today, 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 today. And you know, the Romans had a saying, eat, drink, and marry, because tomorrow you're going to die.
Yeah.
And that's not a very healthy concept to live. Okay. I prefer to dress modestly, but that's me. I don't have to impress anybody. The only ones I need to impress is Jose Negron and God. As long as God is happy with me, I'm good.
Definitely. And
I
go
wanted to
ahead,
add.
Robert.
I wanted to add that no one's telling you that you can't enjoy life, because listen, I happen to love Louis Vuitton, and I love there's a couple of other things I love, right? I love them because of the way they're made. I love them because I enjoy it, and they're good quality, right? Um Something that my mother and my grandmother raised me on is food. There is no expensive food. If you can eat it and you enjoy it, it's worth it, in my opinion, right? If you're enjoying something, we're not saying don't spend your money on it, right? Enjoy your life. You want to go on a trip, you want to enjoy your life, you want to buy something and you use it, and it's important to you, use it. What we're saying is, how many things are in your house that you don't even touch, you don't even use, you don't even look at, right? That's a waste, because that could have been better used towards something that you would enjoy, right? So Blood Moon, there could be things that you would actually like to get, so that you wouldn't have to be a hoarder, like you said you were. You maybe get a cleaning service, something like that. That could be a service for you that you would enjoy. Get rid of
Exactly.
that.
That's a good thing.
Get rid of the things that you don't use and focus on the things that you do use. That's all. The things that you enjoy.
Yeah, nobody's telling you to like be this frugal kind of like Getty type of woman. It's just, learn how to invest or let's just say this, redirect your money to things or repurpose your money into things that you actually will get a higher benefit
Higher
from.
quality of life.
Definitely, definitely. Now, I'm going to start wrapping this up, guys. We have probably like 20 more minutes, but before we do, I see 14 people here. Please, like and subscribe if you have not done so. And let's start by, I'm gonna start from the bottom up. So first, Jose, Rakim, Terrell, Ramon, and then I want to end with all aboard. So, Jose, final thoughts on today's topic.
Well, again, I thank you for allowing me to be part of the stream. And always, it's a very good topic to talk about. And there's nothing wrong with having things. The problem is when things have you, and then you have to, and then you feel that you have to fill a void with a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with spoiling yourself once in a while. But then again, there's nothing wrong with saving your money for something down the pike. I thank all of you for coming. As always, please be safe out there because there are crazy people that want to do us harm, and we must minimize contact with the emotional challenge, because if not, we might inherit this stupidity.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Jose, for joining the stream. I know it's off the time that I usually do a show, so I appreciate that you join in and share your wisdom and your sense of humor, which is hilarious. For those
Oh
who do not
yes.
follow Jose, next week, next show, I'm going to have Jose's social media because his social media is it's literally funny as hell. You do want to follow Jose on Instagram. Oh my
But
god!
if I can just add, I mean, I believe my purpose in life, or at least one of my purposes in life, is to help bring joy. So therefore, you're going to see media like the cat trying to fight the person being pet, representing us, and then the people petting us are slow taps, or the dog, howling because of being because um we've gone through so much sadness in almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
So if we need to laugh a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's something that's we like you said it. We saw very sad times. We lived through sad times, but we survived. So we better have to maximize, the fact that we're still here. We made it. So
Mhm.
thank you, Jose, very much. I'm gonna put you in the back. Now I'm going to bring Terrell, and then Rakim for final thoughts. So Terrell, final thoughts on today's topic.
Topic, and it do need to be discussed a lot. And even though I missed a lot of it because I've been at work, but I feel like you bring up a good point, and people need to understand the difference between what you want versus what you need, because they have two different meanings, and you gotta figure out which one is important, and you gotta know the difference, because you don't want what you want take care of you, and what you need you can't take care of it. So you gotta know the differences and have a good strategy, how to spend money and how to save and balance and how to make everything stretch.
Definitely.
Because you can't get anything you want in the world if you know how to plan correctly and know how about going about the right way of acquiring your goals. But I enjoyed this live stream. It's been a good one. It always a pleasure being a blessing on your channel. You talk about some good educational topics. I like to come on your channel much more because you're a very educated person. I don't care what nobody says. We got a lot of haters on YouTube, and they just don't want to hear the truth. But I love to be on this platform with you. And I can't wait for you and all aboard news channel next in July. I would love to be a moderator on this, and be on your platform too. Because
Definitely,
I
definitely.
will have you back. Because I will block the nasty, racist, mean, ugly trolls. So
Definitely. Every
yes,
time
Thank you,
I
right?
see you, I picture you with like I'm a shady, slashing the trolls away, and I love it. That's why I made you a moderator because we don't have time for stupidity in here. We don't have time for the circus. I get it; it's entertaining, but we'll come to you when we want some entertainment. Right now, let's just get to business. So
yes, ma'am.
thank you,
You what?
Terrell, so much
Anytime.
Well,
for joining
Bye,
and
all
for
aboard.
always support. Okay.
thank you.
Now I'm going to move to Rakim. Rakim, final thoughts on today's topic.
Final thoughts on today's topic. It's very important to understand that uh, involving yourself in consumerism can be detrimental. What a lot of people don't understand is that, as you see, you have to expect the unexpected. One thing that my grandmother always told me, you never plan to fail, it's just that people fail to plan. And that's something that people need to understand because during the course of this pandemic, people that, might have spent a lot of money the pandemic trans, before the pandemic actually had taken place, those were people that were the most destitute within the pandemic because those were the people that did not save. Those were the people that purchased a lot of items, and
Yeah,
a lot of people lost their jobs. The economy plummeted, and some people didn't know what they wanted. Some people didn't know what they were going to do, and you have people that couldn't pay their rent, couldn't pay their mortgages, and various things like that. So, if you have children, or if you plan on having children, it's important to instill that in them at a young age. That way, they don't fall victim to media marketing. They don't fall victim to social media marketing that, pretty much plant the seeds for consumerism to be able to, in the words of Terrell, impress other people that don't even have anything themselves. And, you have to, that's something that you really have to take serious. If you have an issue with it, it's best to analyze that issue and then go get some type of help and see, if you can curve, if you can curve the issue. So that's pretty much my final thoughts, Denise. Once again, appreciate your platform. Appreciate you educating people on serious issues that people can actually, equate in their personal lives and be able to, take the lessons that's learned on your platform and apply it to their personal life to be able to make some type of change.
definitely, definitely. And thank you, Rakim, for joining and sharing your knowledge, your opinions, and also your wisdom because it's needed. Not only I know my channel focuses mostly in Latinos issues, but I want to say that these principles apply also to all minorities. Okay, so don't think that because this is just focusing mostly on Latinos, it doesn't apply to other minorities and to people in America and in the world in general. You don't need to own all this shit. You will find excuses to say you do, but you don't. So I thank you, Rakim, for coming here, representing your community, and actually, sharing your wisdom so that others can understand also that this is not just an issue for Latinos. This is just everybody in America in
No,
general.
no, this is
So
this is a big issue in all communities, including my community, the African American community. And I just wanted to touch on one thing before before you put me backstage, Denise. Same thing,
sure.
with what you was talking about with your friend earlier with Jordans. I'm from Chicago. I grew up on Michael Jordan. Loved the man as an athlete. When you fall victim to marketing, the way that they marketed those commercials, the Nike commercials where you had to get some Jordans, I was begging for Jordans. Got a pair of Air Jordans, got a starter
Yeah,
jacket, end up getting robbed by some older kids. And that's something that you definitely don't want to fall victim to. and it's something that you have to be aware of in your surroundings. If you flaunt and you want to flex certain things, especially if you're in an impoverished area, you may be targeted for someone who don't have as much, or for someone that's don't have the bare minimum. So make sure to be aware of that, and the best way to curb that is to instill in your kids not to focus on material things at all.
Yeah, yeah. One thing, and thank you, Rakim. I'll put you backstage. But one thing I want to say is when it comes to kids, you guys know I'm not a mother, and I want to thank Blood Moon for the donation. Thank you very much for supporting me. One thing I want to say is that instead of giving your kids so many things and so many toys that actually amount for 47% of the items in a household in the average American family, why you don't gift your kids with options that will give them then opportunities to actually become something else in the future, like pay for that class that they in that stuff that they want, give them experiences rather than toys. Toys break, toys are not necessarily something they will enjoy for a lifetime, but knowledge and education is. So I'm gonna move to Ramon, final thoughts on today's topic.
Yes, as it was commented earlier, um, the way that it's set up in the society that we're living, it promotes heavily consumerism, particularly on the working class, and it can lead to us kind of like indulging with whatever little we can spare on some things to make us feel better for a variety of reasons. There are people that do it to try to impress other people. There are people, we all have known people that go shopping for entertainment, other than people that go shopping uh, because they are impulsive about it, or they are doing that to compensate for a feeling that they're having. And in the society, the media, it promotes all of that, but it can also promote things that are much worse, kind of like what happened, if you remember, when it came to the housing crash, the housing market crash and the predatory lendings, and people fell for that. They were
For
giving
the
out all
ninjas,
these
yeah, the ninjas, the ninja
uh-huh.
loans.
Yeah, well, they were giving these loans for houses that people couldn't really afford. It might sound like a different subject, but it does tie into what we're talking about, trying to overextend themselves, trying to get things that they couldn't really afford. Sure, a house is necessary, but sometimes you can you can go for something that it's more apt for what you need. So yeah. When it comes to the excesses, I agree. I agree that we do need to declutter. I have to follow that advice myself. There are certain things. There are certain items. I'm not gonna name them, but there are certain items that I eventually I'm gonna have to part with some of them. But I can get my money back
Ramon,
if
Ramon,
you.
clear
Huh?
out that garage.
Uh,
Clear it out.
yeah. There are
Clear it
certain things that
out.
I have to apply that to myself. Well, there are certain things that I know that if I were to part with them, I should be able to get my money back because they have actually gone up in value. I'm not gonna name what those are, but if you see my Instagram and you see what is it that I have come to like to do, then you will know what I mean. And those items do have gone up in value because they have become more scarce. So yeah. I mean, I agree. I totally agree. I second what you were saying. Part with what you don't need. If you can make some money out of it, streamline, declutter, organize your life because as
Offer
hectic as
up, mira, offer up Facebook Marketplace, open that
yeah,
eBay account, start getting rid of stuff. Trust me,
yeah,
at first it will be hard as
yeah.
fuck.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
it will be hard AF.
Yeah, I
But
know
to
you
be
will.
honest with you, eventually when you come home and you have less stuff and everything will have a home, and you won't need those plastic huge bins to store some stuff in there, and you don't
Yeah.
see all of that, and stuff that actually you don't enjoy, you will live a more peaceful life because you know where everything is, and you will leave them on things that are useful to you. So overall, yeah, get rid of your shit, clear out that garage, clear out that closet, clear out the kitchen, clear everything
Hmm.
out. That way, at least in Puerto Rico, that way you will have space to store the pots and they won't need to go in the oven. So,
No, I do have a couple of pans. I do have a couple of frying pans in the stove.
ah,
I do that.
I
I
feel
do
triggered.
that shit.
Denise, you
go
went
ahead,
too far.
Olabor.
No, you went too far. I feel triggered.
Oh,
You leave the oven out of this. That's all.
oh. No, but
Some pots and
seriously,
pans in the stove. I do that. I do that. Oh yeah, I inherited that. Hmm.
that's the thing among us Latinos. We need to literally leave the oven alone. The oven is not storage space. We need to clear out the kitchen.
I do. I have a couple of frying pans.
Look, Blood Moon is
Oh,
saying Dominicans do that as well. I keep mine there. No, Blood Moon.
That's storage.
What's the next thing that we're gonna store in there? The dogs? Come on.
No.
Let's let's leave the oven alone, okay? The oven is not the place.
I
Come
feel
on.
like you
If you
went too far.
I'm
I
gonna
agree
I'm
with you until you said that. That's storage.
oh
nah.
no, it's not. It's not. I'm gonna say this. If you have pots in your oven or any pans, and I'm guilty of this because I have I think a cookie baking tray right now as we speak in my oven. We need to take this week and start
Denise.
decluttering the kitchen.
No, Denise. What about Thanksgiving? What are you gonna do?
No,
No,
I
you
will put
need
I
those
have
plans.
this space for it. But because it's so cluttered with stuff and bins and stuff, I have to let go of my candle collection, of my vases. I collect a lot of
Oh, that's
vases.
a good point. That's why we don't have cabinet space, huh?
Yeah, I don't have any cabinet space because I have
I have
a medicine
vases.
bin.
I have
I
a
have
bunch
a
of
lot of
vases in there.
things in there that
Yeah.
actually look, the candle collection alone, it's one cabinet. The vases, it's another cabinet with the to-go cups. I need to
Okay.
let go of all these things. I really
All
don't
right.
need
But we never.
7 to-go cups.
But so what are we gonna put in the oven?
Nothing, girl. Nothing goes in the freaking oven.
So something is too cultural. It's too cultural for us to keep the oven
No,
empty.
no,
I mean,
declutter.
I saw my grandma putting things in the oven, and mom putting things in the oven. It's too cultural, man.
I'm sorry that I have to go there, but that's a no. Okay,
Uh,
clear out your oven 2021. Okay,
Come on,
I'm gonna.
that's like not eating rice or something. It's too
Oh
hard
my
to do.
god, come on! And don't get me started with the butter container that has sofrito. Okay, don't get me
Ah,
started
Oh
with that
no,
one.
no, 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 no.
Now
Look,
I'm going to put you in the back and I'm gonna get all aboard's final thoughts. Thank you, Ramon, for joining in. So all aboard, final thoughts on
my
today's
final
topic.
thoughts are you're going a little bit too far. Minimalism is one thing, but I still think that is minimalistic. That's making the most out of the little, and I think you're going too far with the sofrito in the oven. What are you talking about?
Girl, come on, girl.
No,
Come
but
on.
no. Um, but I agree with you on that. And you know what? Like I have a bunch of TVs, for example. I don't watch TV ever. I only turn on the TV when there's like a storm coming, and people are like, "Didn't you watch TV? The news? They said that there's a hurricane coming," and then I'll turn the TV on, right? I don't need all these TVs, so I can definitely maybe give some of them away. But
Mhm.
As far as like the clothes and things like that, like yeah, I can declutter. What I noticed is whenever there's an emergency, the only things I'm worried about are pictures and things that I can't replace, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, um, the rest of the things they don't really matter that much to me anymore, right? My like lives, people that I care about, my animals, and things that are irreplaceable. Other than that, um, materialist materialism is really just overrated because like you said you can't take it with you. And if you've ever been through any sort of a tragedy, or like I'm in the south, a hurricane, or you're in California, a fire,
An
are you going to
earthquake.
run inside and take out all of those belongings, or are you going to
No,
do
of
what's
course not.
important?
Yeah, I just need my passport, my IDs. I'm good. In an
And
earthquake.
you're going to get what's important. And so um I'm not saying throw away everything. If you use it, then keep it. And I don't think Denise is saying throw anything away either. She's saying sell it because
Yeah.
she's still a capitalist at heart.
Definitely. Definitely.
Right.
But yeah, but you have to look. Um, you have to at some point you have to understand you made a bad investment by purchasing
Hmm.
things that they're not necessary. Okay, let's just joking aside with the oven and everything. We'll address that in a second, but you have to admit, hey, I bought all these things that actually I don't need.
Hmm.
So once you realize that you made a bad investment, then it's time to recover at least some of
Some
the
of it.
money so that you don't lose 100% of the bad investment you made. That's what people that have businesses and invest in the stock market do.
No,
So you have to be able to recover from that bad investment, and the best way you can do that is by selling it, even if it's for $5. Well, that's what you got, But you have to start selling these things. You don't need these things. You want them, you don't need them.
there
They're
was
keeping
an
you poor.
article that I saw. It's an old article, but they were talking about Warren Buffett, who's one of the wealthiest people in the world, and he's an old man, and they were talking about how he lives. He's an average billionaire. He lives a very humble life. He lives in the house that like he had for years, and he eats like at McDonald's and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, my first question is, so why is he hoarding money and resources that he doesn't use? Okay, but that's a big thing amongst very wealthy people. They like to get all of the wealth and then show you how they don't need it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the reverse. It's the reverse of people who are in poverty. It's like when you don't have anything, you want to be able to flaunt little things that really mean nothing, right?
Yeah.
So what we have to do is copy paste what they do,
Yeah. Yeah,
right? They.
definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
I believe in the copy pasting situation in everything. If you see somebody that's successful, copy paste their shit, and you'll be successful as well.
Hmm.
I believe in that. I'm a big supporter of that. All aboard.
Of course.
So I'm gonna put you in the back, but I want to thank you for joining
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and
Wonderful
your
share.
wisdom and your knowledge with me, and also the people watching. Now, I want to say before I go, look, I know this is a fun topic because we all suffer from this shit. Okay. We all are vulnerable to marketing. We're all vulnerable to Amazon. We're all vulnerable to restoration hardware. We are all vulnerable to crate and barrel. We're all vulnerable to these things. Okay. They're beautiful things. And I'm not going to say they're not, they're beautiful things. However, we don't need them. Okay. And like I said, this is something that we have to come to the realization that you can give yourself the life you always wanted if you're willing to let go of the things that you don't use. Now, I want to share with you guys, there was somebody that said a while ago, that human beings trash or basically trash their health by working to obtain money that then they later will need to restore their health later in life. So you have to think about this and say, hey, am I overworking myself to cancer or to diabetes or to high blood pressure or heart attack to actually spend all that money back? Because when all these illnesses arise, how are you going to afford them? How are you going to afford a trip to Italy when you retire? Wouldn't you want to go to Japan or France and whatnot? Well, sell your shed. It's time to clear out the oven. And I'm very serious about this. I'm going to do so this week. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get the baking pans out of my oven. They're not needed in there, okay? We don't need to have anything in the oven. But in all seriousness, minimalism, in my opinion, is the solution, okay? Whether you have a lot of money or a little bit of money, owning less, it's always the solution. You're investing less in depreciating assets that you necessarily don't need, and they're going to depreciate as they age. So just like a car, like a vehicle that I have spoken before, the one thing that's keeping you poor, this is another thing that's keeping you poor: owning too much debt. Everything that you purchase the minute it gets out of the store is a depreciating asset, because nobody will buy it from you at the same full price. It came from you, it's used. It might be in mint condition, but let's be honest, you're not going to make a lot of money out of it. So I wanted to leave you guys with that. And I want to thank you guys for sticking with me, even though it's a little bit later. But before I leave, please follow me on Instagram, denise.gonzalez.villegas1, so that you can keep up with me. Also, shoot me an email if you have any questions or you have any inquiry or you want me to bring a topic here for discussion. Make sure you shoot me an email or follow me on Instagram. I'm open to any suggestions. And like I said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, even though it's late. Thank you very much for being here. Virtual hug to you too, Blood Moon. Thank you for sharing your sense of humor. It was hilarious today. Um, but before I leave you guys, I want to say that I'm very grateful that you guys take my advices to heart, because this is a journey we're all doing together. And we're all learning from each other. There's a lot of things I don't know, but I'm willing to share with you my mistakes so that you can learn from them and don't make those mistakes yourself. Before I leave, I want to remind you guys of that's right. You guys know it's coming closer to the first episode of the season of Latin Explaining on the Road. So I'm ready. I will be ready during the month of July to actually share with you guys something. But also, I've been very busy because I'm also working on something very exciting that you guys have heard before. If you guys have not heard it before, then you're going to hear it now. That's right. I have partnered up with my good friend all aboard, and we're going to bring it this summer. We're going to bring interesting topics that have nothing to do with business. It's going to be completely open. And no, we're not going to put up with bullshit, but also we're not going to give you bullshit. So it will be our unfiltered opinions about different topics of pop culture, of thoughts, of stuff that's happening in our communities, or just stuff that we want to talk about. So make sure you stay tuned for the official date that will be announced next week. And like I said, there are many things coming. There's a YouTube marathon that we're going to do also during this week. So make sure you tune in for that also. And like I said, be safe. Like Jose always says, there's people out there that want to harm you. And, we just saw it with this poor kid. But leaving on a good note, spend less, save your money, clear the oven, and live a good life. Thank you guys. Send you good vibes to all of you. This has been another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise. Have a good night and be safe. Peace.